What's going on, everyone? So, we're getting a new Legacy sequel for I Know What You Did Last Summer, and we have Jennifer Love Hewitt returning back as Julie, and you got Ray coming back, played by Freddie Prinze Jr. It's really exciting. I'm curious to see how do they approach this I Know What You Did Last Summer. Kind of been making theory videos and ideas, because I do think that they are in a really unique position that they never really have been in, right? Where even the original I Know What You Did Last Summer, you knew the gist. You knew who the killer was. It was the person that they ran over, right? Like, there wasn't, like, yes, they try to give you some misdirection. Is it this guy? Is it that guy? Is it Ray? Is it... But ultimately, we all knew, no, it's the fisherman that they ran over, right? Like, that's who it is. And lo and behold, that's who it was. And then in part two, a lot of the same things. But now, with this installment, you have no idea, right? Like, they're so far removed that it's probably not Ben Willis, because he would be in, it's like 80s at this point. And even if it was, like, I think that'd be a little silly. So I would imagine that there's going to be some new killer, whether it's a copycat or a relative, or however they approach this, however they go about kind of having the killer play a role. I do think that there is this level of mystery. I think there is this level of whodunit that really is exciting for this franchise in a way that we never really got before, right? Now, you could argue, that terrible sequel or even like the TV series, but I thought both of those were awful, like awful. I know some people liked, I haven't heard anybody say they liked the third movie. I'll always Know What You Did Last Summer, but I have heard some people say that they actually liked the series. So, if you love the series, that's great, right? I'm always happy that people found some enjoyment in the art. I just personally thought it was, like, unwatchably bad. But I digress. Point is that you get some real mystery. And with I Know What You Did Last Summer being part of the Scream tree, right? When Scream came out and had all the success that it had, and that branched out into all of these kind of copycats, urban legend, I Know What You Did Last Summer. I just feel like this is a time where you have this element of surprise that we never got before. And so when they introduce new cast members and they have new characters that are coming on board, really kind of makes you go like, hey, is there something here? And we got some news. So Billy Campbell, he will star in I Know What You Did Last Summer, and this is per Deadline. So Billy Campbell has been added to the cast for the upcoming I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I'm excited, right? Like, you want, again, to have these new characters coming in and be introduced, and, is he playing a cop? Is he the killer? Is he a cop and a killer? Is he, one of the friends? Right? Because you got to keep in mind, like, Julie and Ray, they're older now. Now, the actor Billy Campbell, he's 65, compared to, you look at Freddie Prinze Jr., he is in his 40s. He's 48, soon to be 50. Well, I shouldn't say it like that. He's 48, soon to be 49, and kind of skipping years, especially at 48. You're probably like, nah, I'm not 50, I'll be 49. But point what I was trying to make is that, it doesn't mean that there's not a possibility that they are friends or coworkers or something like that. But maybe it's just me. He has that kind of cop look, but he's a guy that, like, somebody that I recognized from movies like Enough. If you ever saw Enough, it was that J-Lo movie. He was the husband of J-Lo, the father. He was also in movies like the Lizzie Borden one with Christina Ricci. He was in Ghost Town. He's been in like Meteor, Dracula back in 1992. He's been in several different films and shows and things like that. So definitely a guy that I'm sure many of you are familiar with or have seen his body of work one form or another, because he's been in a lot of stuff. But this is exciting, right? To kind of have him on board, added in, fresh cast member who's coming in that's like, is he friend? Is he foe? Is he the cop? Is he the killer? Is it him and somebody else? Right? And you're going to see that a lot with a lot of these new characters. You're going to have a lot of these characters coming in as we inch and move closer and closer to the actual film itself. They're going to continue adding and implementing different characters and cast members and stuff. And it's always exciting to kind of hear who's involved and whatnot, and actors that we recognize and like, oh man, what kind of role he could play. But like I mentioned earlier, the mystery of this film, you can kind of play these games with these characters that you really couldn't play before, right? Like, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, again, it's like, okay, we know it's not any of, like, the twist was that it was, Ben Willis's son. Like, okay, right? Like, but you knew who the main killer was. You knew who it was. I mean, there's literal shots where you can see his face, right? Like, that was a running joke. Even to this day, people mention that and bring that up, right? Like, you knew who the killer was in part 2 because it was a continuation. You also, again, could see his face in, like, the trailer and stuff. Like, it was blatantly obvious who the killer was, right? So this is, again, the first time where it's just like, no, this is somebody that, I mean, we could be staring right now. You could be looking at the killer for I Know What You Did Last Summer on screen. That to me is exciting. That to me is fresh in a lot of ways. And it does add this new layer that we just didn't really have. But, also, he could be a casualty. He could be somebody that ends up meeting their end at the hands of the hookman. Or, maybe he's one of the survivors and helps. Or he's the cop. Or he's the town mayor or something, right? Because this is supposed to be a 4th of July thing, supposed to tie in the 30th anniversary type thing. Like, you're supposed to have, based on the rumors that have came out, obviously everything's rumor until it's actually confirmed, but that's kind of the idea. It's kind of the concept of like, okay, you're going to have this kind of, after all these years, the Hookman comes back. Who is it? What is it? Why is it? Right? Like, it's just, I really do find that intriguing. I really do find that exciting. And, this is the first of many actors and actresses, right? Sarah Michelle Gellar, to kind of tack on some other news that I just didn't feel like was worth a video by itself. But, Sarah Michelle Gellar was asked about it, and she said no. Like, she's dead. Like, her character's dead. Not coming back. They're not doing some retcon thing or anything. Brandy has talked about how they've reached out, at least at the time of recording this video. Still don't have any confirmation that she's actually signed on or on board, but she said that she's heard about it. She's had conversations, that they've had, touch base type of conversation. So I imagine that she signs on at some point. I imagine that she's going to be involved at some point in this upcoming sequel. It makes sense to kind of have Carla be still Julie's friend, Julie's best friend, and now they have this bond like never before because they survived the Hookman, they survived the attack, so they have that kind of build and bond. But it'd be cool to see her back. Obviously, Freddie Prinze Jr., he's confirmed, he's locked on. Jennifer Love Hewitt, I don't believe she's confirmed yet, right? But she is expected to be on. Like, we got the confirmation news about Freddie Prinze Jr. Like a week or so ago. So I imagine that we'll probably get that for sure. Like, hey, we're gonna start promoting and she's on type thing at some point. But regardless, I'm excited. Are you? Are you excited? Are you looking forward to this film? What do you think about bringing in the new actors and whatnot? The addition of Billy Campbell. Are you familiar with his line of work and his body of work? Is he somebody that you're looking forward to? And also, like, what do you think his role will be? Do you think he's going to be one of, Julie and Ray's friends? Do you think that, he'll be maybe just like a coworker, the mayor? Do you think maybe he's the cop or something? Or do you think that, no, like maybe he's the hookman. Maybe he's the killer. That would be kind of interesting. I think I will say, though, as the kind of a counterpoint, is the first non-returning character that they introduced really going to be the killer, right? Just kind of something to think about, right? Like, to kind of play devil's advocate, you would think that, the first character that you introduce is not the killer. But also, from a studio standpoint, you'd want to get the main characters down, Julie and Ray, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Freddie Prinze Jr., and you'd kind of want to get who your hookman is down, right? Because that's kind of the most important. That those are kind of like the two biggest elements for this upcoming sequel. Just kind of something to keep in mind. But again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.